My name is Thomas Landis. I'm the head of F10. What we do is we help banks and insurance companies to be more innovative in the work with startups. Meaning we look at corporate innovation management and find out what kind of problems are the technologies and bring the right startup to the banks and make sure that they collaborate with each other. We've been for the third time here at Singapore FinTech Festival. It's been a very great experience every year so far. We met a lot of people, we had a lot of bright minds, and we met actually a good ecosystem. You know, for our business model, it's very important that you have people who want to think outside of the bun and who are really looking for a collaboration, and meaning this on the corporate side, but also on the startup side. And we found this all here at the Singapore FinTech Festival. Purely focus on corporate innovation management, meaning we don't do it from an investment point of view, we really do it for corporate innovation. And what does this mean? Look at the bank, or for example, a stock exchange. You have to be very stable from a system, you have to be very compliant, you have to be very risk averse. So what you do as a bank, you hire a lot of people who make sure that the status quo doesn't change, and you give them a lot of money and a lot of KPIs, so that nothing changes. But on the other hand, you must explore the market, you must understand the future, you must understand trends, and you simply cannot do both. And this is where we come in and help them actually to find the startups who work on the topics of tomorrow or the technology of tomorrow, and really bring them into our program and make sure that actually we hire the expectations of them and also the ability, and make sure that they can collaborate with the bank. We very often start with the corporates. For example, in Switzerland we have 13 different kind of banks and insurance companies in our association. What is the opportunities banks have if the people are still getting older and older? And then we're looking at possibilities and opportunities the bank can actually create out of that, or an insurance company. And then we're looking at our hackathons, at different kind of use cases or challenges which we want talents to work on and bring out first ideas, first prototypes. And we hope then actually finding the startups who work on those topics which are relevant for the banks and the insurance companies, and bring them into a program and really make sure after the 6 months program we have that the startup is really able to collaborate with the bank. And we all know how big this is. You must be compliant, you must be risk averse, and you must be able to scale up quickly as a team. And do not forget, you must be ready to take a first investment. For example, we had one team coming, one of a pretty traditional Swiss bank. Those were two founders. They said, well, we've been running the structured product desk at our bank, and we saw a way how we can digitalize this, because this is poorly manually done. But somehow we were not able in our management to make them understand that it's needed that we digitalize now the MCIC program or product. And so we took those guys into our program. We gave them a desk, we gave them a lot of feedback and helped them really to develop actually the digital structured product solution they have now. They won Julius Baer as the first customer during our program, and are now here in Singapore to expanding their business also to Singapore. One of our corporate sponsors is the runner of the ATM systems in Switzerland. So we had one startup that came up with an app and said, well, this is based on blockchain. What we can do is actually we bring an ATM in everybody's pocket in every store. So we took the startup into our program and looked together with the ATM provider 6 at the use cases and tried to figure out, is the market really ready for an app which I can collect cash everywhere? Of course, we also ask, well, is cash the future of digital payments? It is probably in the midterm. So when we took actually this startup into our program, we learned a lot about how the market reacts, how merchants react on it, but also what banks think about opening up the APIs for such an app and providing cash through an app into a merchant store, or the opposite way, at a very low cost. What happened then is actually the bank and also the ATM provider said, well, the market is not ready yet, so they did nothing. And 2 years later, this startup is now the largest ATM provider in Switzerland, which is actually a great success. But for the bank, it's now very important that they react now and say, well, we have understood the market, we have understood the need of our customers. Let's invest now in that startup and make it grow even more and offer these use cases now to our customers as well through our open APIs. Well, if you look at the speed all the startups have, or all the technology providers have, I mean, a bank must decide, where do I want to go? And what is my offering in the future? I mean, is the bank in the future still able to offer a fully digitalized whole customer journey from A to B? Or is the bank able to be the best APIs for? Or can they somehow go into the niche and be the best customer-centric bank on the future? So those are the three things the bank needs to understand. And then they must have a clear picture, where do we want to go? Let's take back the payments. For example, if you look at payments, cash is just one element in your wallet. But if you really want to digitalize your whole wallet, you must understand, well, what else is in my wallet? It's loyalty cards, it's coupons, it's identities, it's there. And then the banks must also understand, okay, if we really want to be the wallet of the future, we must digitalize all those services. So how can we start with the digital identity? How can we start with loyalty program? Maybe we don't, as a bank, have to do that, but we have to bring in those people who can, and we have to open up our systems and our customer bases to collaborate with the startup together to bring this really to a next level and to really test the market. Is the market ready for example, digital ID on your mobile phone or not? We as F10, as a collaboration platform between startups and banks, we need actually two important factors. We need, first of all, we need a lot of talents which are willing to change the world, and we need open minds in banks and in startups to collaborate. And if you look at Singapore, I mean, Singapore is pretty similar like Switzerland, small country which has been used to collaborate with others, otherwise Singapore would not be as successful as they are. And what we also learned actually in that journey is that there is a different kind of banking coming from Asia to Europe, and Swiss banks in general do not understand. We also learned that Asian startups do not travel over the ocean to Europe to be in Switzerland. So we said we have to be here present, we have to collaborate here with the local banks and with the local startups, and to make sure that actually we have on both sides of the world something like a presence. That's actually the reason why we came here. I mean, 95% is pretty hard to top, I must say that. But yes, I see that. I mean, very important is that if you collaborate as a bank with a startup, the most important thing is you really must know what you are looking for. If you're not knowing what you are looking for, don't wonder what you're getting. So meaning, that's very important. So I don't think it's about Singapore, Switzerland or whatever. The important piece about good innovation is really the people behind. And I've seen so many great talents here in Singapore, so many bright minds, that I believe that actually we will be successful here as well.